Discipline is the bridge. That's the part most people skip when they get excited about new goals. Everybody wants the result, the outcome, the reward. But the world does not reward wants. The world rewards organized, consistent daily effort. The problem is, wanting is emotional. Discipline is mechanical. Wanting is how you feel. Discipline is what you do. Results are not in your feelings. Results are in your habits. So the question that actually shapes your destiny is not what do you want. The question is, what are you willing to do today? That's a much tougher question because it exposes you. It exposes your commitment. It exposes your truth. You build a life brick by brick, day by day, habit by habit. Discipline is the act of laying the brick. And habits are the bricks themselves. It doesn't matter how big the dream is if you're laying cheap bricks. It doesn't matter how talented you are if you only lay bricks when you feel motivated. Discipline doesn't care about your mood. Discipline doesn't care about the weather. Discipline doesn't care if you slept well or not. Discipline is a decision about your identity. It's the daily honoring of the person you promised yourself you'd become. And most lives fall short not because dreams were too big, but because disciplines were too weak. Every day, you are telling the world who you are by what you repeatedly do. Your habits are visible proof of your internal standards. You can't fake your standards. You can't pretend your standards are high if your habits are low. The world sees your habits. Your bank account sees your habits. Your health sees your habits. Your opportunities see your habits. Habits announce to the world if you are serious or just talking. People love to talk big, but daily habits tell the real story. Show me your daily routine, not your vision board, and I'll tell you exactly where you are going to end up. Discipline is a form of self-respect. Discipline is how you show yourself you are serious. Undisciplined people are always arguing with themselves. They negotiate every morning. They negotiate every workout. They negotiate every task. Disciplined people don't negotiate. They just execute. They made the decision yesterday, so today is automatic. There's no drama. There's no debate. There's no internal committee meeting. The decision is made. That's what I do. Period. That's the bridge. So if you want to become unstoppable, don't start by trying to change everything at once. Start by laying one brick well. Make one habit sacred. Make one routine non-negotiable. Something small, something daily, something that raises your identity just a little bit. And once that brick is rock solid, add another brick. The mistake most people make is they want to build the entire house in 1 week. They never learn the art of the single brick. They get excited, they get overwhelmed, then they get exhausted. This is why discipline feels impossible, because people try to do it with emotional surge instead of daily structure. A powerful life is built out of ordinary days executed with extraordinary consistency. Discipline is not glamorous. Nobody claps for your discipline. Nobody applauds your habits. But one day they will applaud your results. And they will call you lucky. They will call you gifted. They will call you blessed. But you and I will know the truth. You laid bricks when no one watched. You laid bricks on the days you didn't feel like it. You laid bricks when it was boring. You laid bricks when it was painful. You laid bricks when your mind offered excuses. And because of that, when the time came, you didn't need motivation, you had a structure. Life is designed to reward the person who has earned the reward, and you earn it daily. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is permission. Discipline gives you the right to have the future you want. Every day you practice discipline, you are purchasing your future. If your future is valuable, discipline is cheap. That's the trade, that's the exchange, that's the secret the dreamers forget. Dreams are free, but the discipline that makes them real has a price tag. And that price must be paid daily, in small, consistent installments. If you don't run the day will run you. And the day runs fast. Minutes disappear into hours disappear into weeks, and people look up and say, where did the time go? Time didn't go anywhere. It just got used by something or someone else. The truth is simple. Time is too powerful to remain neutral. If you don't assign your time to purpose, it will get consumed by distraction. If you don't schedule your agenda, the world will fill it for you. A person who doesn't have a daily plan becomes part of someone else's plan. That's how it works. Unmanaged time always defaults to the lowest value use. It flows to the easiest thing, not the most important thing. It flows downward like water. Time won't manage itself. That's the weakness most people have. They think time is automatically on their side. They think because they woke up, time will serve them. No, time belongs to the disciplined. You don't get success because you want it. You get it because you organize your day around the actions that produce it. You become successful because you impose order on chaos. You say, here is what matters, here is when I do it, and here is how long I'll invest. The world respects clarity. The world respects structure. The world respects the person who knows what they are doing at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 7 p.m., and before bed. People who win don't stumble into winning, they schedule it. Purpose must be assigned. If you don't give your day meaning, the day will make up its own meaning and waste you. Small distractions have a way of multiplying. One small delay becomes a wasted hour. One wasted hour becomes a wasted day. Many wasted days become a wasted life. Most people don't ruin their life with one bad decision. They ruin it one comfortable minute at a time. Small moments of laziness repeated forever. That's why people look back and feel regret. They didn't lose to a crisis. They lost to drift, and drift only happens when you aren't steering. Schedule is not a prison. Schedule is a freedom tool. Schedule is how you protect your time from being stolen by nonsense. You're not making a schedule to live rigid. You're making a schedule so you stay in control. Discipline isn't chains. Discipline is a steering wheel. You don't get freedom by avoiding structure. You get freedom by mastering structure. You get freedom by becoming the architect of your hours. You get freedom by telling your time what you expect from it. If you want to be unstoppable, you must treat time like currency. People know how to protect money. They count money, track money, invest money. But time is more valuable than money. You can earn money again. You can't get back time. Time is the raw material of life. Every goal is achieved by converting time into skill, time into action, time into outcome. So the question is not what do you want? The question is where do you place your hours? Because life always follows hours. You will become exactly what you repeatedly spend time on. The world is full of people who love inspiration but never master scheduling. And that's why they stay stuck. Motivation without management becomes waste. Emotion without structure becomes regret. The future belongs to the person who plans their day the night before. The future belongs to the person who reviews priorities every morning. The future belongs to the person who blocks out time for growth, for skill, for sales, for reading, for thinking, for health. These are deliberate hours. These are hours used wisely. A great life doesn't just require effort, it requires arrangement. You cannot rely on memory. You cannot rely on mood. You need a written plan. You need a calendar. You need appointments with your future self. And when the clock strikes the time you scheduled, you show up and do the work, whether you feel like it or not. That's the difference. Ordinary people are ruled by the clock emotionally. Extraordinary people use the clock strategically. Run the day, or the day will absolutely run you. Success isn't what you pursue, it's what you attract. That single shift in philosophy changes destiny. Because most people spend their life chasing outcomes. They don't spend their life increasing their value. They want more money without becoming more capable. They want more respect without becoming more disciplined. They want opportunity without becoming the kind of person that opportunity would trust. Life is not a lottery. Life is a mirror. It reflects back to you who you are, not what you wish. You don't get what you want. You get what you are capable of holding, maintaining, managing, and multiplying. So the true work is not chasing. The true work is becoming. Attraction is not magic. Attraction is consequence. You attract the level of relationships, the level of deals, the level of income, the level of opportunity that matches your internal standards. Raise your standards and life reorganizes around you. Lower your standards and life slips away from you. That's not philosophy. This is mechanics. Because every result in your life is connected to qualities inside you. Confidence produces bold reach. Skill produces results. Integrity produces trust. Discipline produces consistency. And consistency produces momentum. If you want to attract more, focus on the roots inside, not the fruits outside. Fruits always come, but roots must be planted first. So the real assignment each day is this: become someone valuable, not in talk, valuable in capability. You want higher income, develop higher skills. You want better relationships. Become a better communicator, a better listener, a better human. You want more respect, build a character that deserves it. You want more opportunities, practice excellence so deeply that the marketplace can see it. The marketplace is not sentimental. It is not emotional. It responds to value. That's why you can't demand success. You must become the kind of person success is drawn to. This is why personal growth is the highest leverage habit on earth. Because as you expand, the world you live in expands automatically. Your world is not limited by economy, competition, or environment. It is limited by your current identity. Expand the identity and the limits move. You don't break limits by force, you break limits by growth. You don't fight for room, you outgrow the room you're in. The world will make space for you if you become someone who cannot be ignored. And that comes from private development, not public demand. You don't get to escape the process. All great rewards come after internal upgrade. We rise to the level of our preparation, not our ambition. That's why so many people are frustrated. They're ambitious but not prepared. They have great intentions but poor disciplines. They have big goals but small habits. They want consistent results built on inconsistent days. Life doesn't pay that way. Life pays the person who pays the price of becoming. That's the currency. So ask yourself each day, what am I becoming? Not what am I hoping? Not what am I talking about? What habits am I cultivating? What skills am I sharpening? What books am I absorbing? What discomfort am I intentionally embracing to stretch my capacity? Because every time you stretch capacity, you upgrade your ability to attract. You are literally increasing the gravitational pull of your identity. Success is not a chase, it's a magnet, but the magnet must be strong. The biggest enemy of attraction is the belief that the world owes you something. The world owes you nothing, but it will generously respond to your growth. Become more, and you'll attract more. The formula is simple. You don't need more wishes. You need more becoming. Every morning, you are either increasing your value or you are decreasing it. And every evening, life pays you based on what you became that day. Your future is not shaped by the one dramatic decision. It is shaped by the dozens of small choices you repeat without applause, without audience, without pressure. People love the idea of the turning point. They love the story of the big breakthrough moment. But the truth is, big turning points are just visible tipping points of thousands of invisible small choices that happened long before that moment. The future is not a thunderclap. The future is a drip, drip, drip. One tiny decision, repeated again and again, until it becomes who you are. Daily repetition is the compound interest of destiny. You already know how compound interest works in money. Little consistent deposits become massive wealth over time. Life works the exact same way. A tiny positive choice, repeated 365 days, becomes a massive advantage. A tiny negative choice, repeated 365 days, becomes a massive loss. The big difference, With money, you can see numbers on a statement. With habits, you don't see the impact until later. Habits are invisible for a season. They don't pay you immediately. They pay you with time. That's why people underestimate the small. They underestimate the ordinary. They underestimate the little things. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't change your life tomorrow, but 365 days later, that's 650 pages. That's dozens of books. That's new vocabulary, new thinking, new perspectives. That's new awareness. That's new brain chemistry. Just 10 pages, 15 minutes, tiny, but multiplied by time, it becomes massive. The same is true for saving money, exercising 30 minutes, practicing your skill, sending one networking message a day, learning one new concept, adding one new customer, recording one video. Nothing big, nothing dramatic, nothing Instagram worthy, but multiplied by time, destiny shifting. Most people will never become unstoppable, not because they don't have the big goal, but because they don't respect the small daily movements that actually achieve the big goal. They want eruption. They want explosion. They want overnight transformation. And because they don't see immediate reward from small actions, they quit. They abandon the compound effect. They break the chain. They never give their small actions time to compound. You don't get 6-pack abs from one intense workout. You get it from hundreds of workouts that nobody claps for. You don't build a powerful brand by posting one brilliant video. You build it by showing up consistently even when nobody is watching yet. The daily grind doesn't look glamorous. It looks boring. It looks routine. But that is where destiny is created. Great lives don't feel great while you're building them. They feel ordinary, they feel repetitive, they feel slow. But then one day, it looks like you exploded. People call it sudden, but you will know it wasn't. You'll know it was compound interest finally hitting visible range. Your future is being built right now by tiny decisions. Every time you choose to scroll instead of study, you're making a deposit. Every time you choose distraction over discipline, you're making a deposit. These are invisible withdrawals from your potential future. And most people don't see it until they are older and the bill shows up. But your future self is watching you today, and it will either thank you or resent you. So the big question of a powerful life is not what big thing will you do this year. The big question is what small things will you do every day. What are the 3-5 tiny daily commitments that, if done repeatedly, will transform your career, your body, your income, your mind? Build your life around those, guard them, protect them, make them non-negotiable because the tiny things win. The small things shape character. The small things shape identity. And identity determines your future. Destiny is not an event. Destiny is a pattern. If you want to change your destiny, don't wait for the big moment. Change the pattern. Change the daily. Change what you repeat. Change the small choices. Because the future is always a delayed reaction of the daily small. Life doesn't move because you need something. Life moves because you planted something. Most people sit around hoping life will feel sympathy for them. They tell stories about how hard it's been, how unfair it is, how much they deserve a break, how badly they need a change. But life does not respond to need. Nature doesn't respond to need. Nature responds to seed. If a farmer needs food but doesn't plant in spring, nature does not say, "Oh, poor man, he needs a crop." Nature says, "No seeds, no harvest." Simple, harsh, fair, because the universe is lawful, not emotional. If you want a different harvest, you don't cry for it. You plant for it. You plant seeds every day even if you don't know it. Your thoughts are seeds. Your actions are seeds. Your habits are seeds. Your conversations are seeds. The shows you watch are seeds. The people you listen to are seeds. Nothing in your life is random. You are literally harvesting the consequences of the seeds you've been planting for years. If you want a bigger life, stop asking for more and start planting more. Stop begging for luck and plant better habits. Stop expecting the world to reward your needs and start becoming the kind of person who consistently sows the seeds that produce the rewards. Plant seeds in reading. Reading expands your vocabulary, and vocabulary expands your thinking. Thinking expands your decisions, and decisions expand your destiny. Every page is a seed. Every idea is a seed. One line in one book can open one door in one conversation that changes everything. But you have to plant daily. If you read only when you feel like it, you are living off emotional weather. Readers are growers. Growers are sowers. You want to change your mind. Plant new information into it every day. Plant seeds in skill. Skills are not given from heaven. You grow them through repetition. If you write every day, you become a writer. If you speak every day, you become a speaker. If you sell every day, you become a salesperson. Skill is a seed watered with practice. Too many people admire skilled people instead of planting the seeds to become skilled themselves. Admiration is cheap. Repetition is expensive, but repetition is the price that produces authority, and the marketplace pays authority. Plant seeds in discipline. Discipline is how you fertilize your seeds. Without discipline, the seeds never survive long enough to produce a harvest. Discipline is how you protect your future from your mood. Discipline is how you guarantee the right actions get done even when motivation is low. Discipline is the farmer waking up early to plant, even when he didn't sleep well, even when the weather isn't perfect, even when his body is tired. Discipline is the guardian of your potential. Without it, everything you want remains a theory. Plant seeds in attitude. Attitude is the climate in which every seed grows or dies. Negative attitude poisons the soil. Positive attitude enriches the soil. Have you noticed that opportunity tends to show up more for people who expect it? And hardship tends to stick to those who constantly talk about it. Attitude is a magnet. You attract opportunities, or you repel them based on how you carry yourself. A strong, confident attitude invites collaboration, invites trust, invites doors, invites possibilities. So plant seeds of optimism, seeds of gratitude, seeds of belief, and remember this: seeds need time. You can't plant today and demand harvest tomorrow. Seeds are patient. Seeds work underground first. But if you keep planting the right seeds, keep watering them with discipline, keep protecting them with the right attitude, the harvest will come. Not because you needed it, but because you earned it, because you planted it, because you sowed the cause long before you reaped the effect. Don't ask for easy. Ask for worthwhile, because easy never built anybody into anything worth remembering. Easy never built a champion. Easy never built a leader. Easy never built a legacy. Easy is comfortable, but comfort is the enemy of growth. The strongest version of you is always on the other side of difficulty, but most people want the reward without the resistance. They want the trophy without the training. They want the results without the repetitions, and life doesn't pay that way. Life pays in proportion to the difficulty you are willing to embrace. The more challenge you are willing to take on, the more capacity you develop. The more capacity you develop, the more valuable you become. That's the formula. Adversity is a gym membership paid daily. You don't get stronger by talking about adversity. You get stronger by enduring adversity. Just like muscle doesn't grow because you bought a gym membership. Muscle grows when you show up and lift the weight, day after day. Especially when your body is not in the mood. That's when the growth happens. The same is true in life. Your mental strength grows when life hands you a weight to lift. And if you avoid the weight, you avoid the strength. You're not being punished when life gets tough. You're being offered a chance to grow. Ask yourself this: what did you learn the most from in your life? The easy seasons or the hard seasons? Everyone knows the answer. The obstacles were the education. The heartbreak was the education. The failure was the education. The rejection was the education. The betrayal was the education. And the reason those things taught you more is because resistance reveals what comfort never will. Hard times are the mirror. Hard times show you your real limits, your real patience, your real discipline, your real toughness. And the moment you see your real level, you finally have something real to improve. People don't fear the grind. People fear the mirror because the mirror exposes you. Most people avoid challenge because challenge proves they are not as good, not as consistent, not as disciplined as they pretend to be. So they stay in easy environments where they never have to face who they really are, and they call that safety. But it's not safety, it's a slow decay. It is a silent collapse happening inside them. Easy steals your potential quietly. It feels good today but costs you tomorrow. Worthwhile is different. Worthwhile demands that you stretch. Worthwhile demands that you stay in the fight longer than your old self thinks is reasonable. Worthwhile demands that you delay gratification, take the harder path, take the slower path, master the fundamentals. Eat the bitter vegetables of growth while everyone else eats the sugar of comfort. Worthwhile is where the long-term value lives. Worthwhile is where identity is sculpted. Worthwhile is the long game. Easy is the short game. So here is a powerful philosophy. Stop praying for lighter burdens. Start praying for stronger shoulders. Stop wishing the path was smoother. Start wishing you were sturdier. The point of the challenge is not to destroy you. The point is to develop you. The obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. The pressure is not the punishment. The pressure is the teacher. A diamond is a rock that handled pressure well. Pressure didn't break it. Pressure shaped it. And when life applies pressure to you, it's not a curse, it's certification. It's life saying, here is your next level. See if you can handle it. And if you handle it, you earn elevation. Think about any person you admire. They are not admired because their life was easy. They are admired because they did something difficult. They climbed a mountain most others avoided. If you want to join the league of people who are unstoppable, embrace the hard things. Learn to hunger for challenge. Learn to love the work everyone else runs from. The world respects the person who walked through fire and kept moving. That's who people listen to. That's who people pay. That's who people follow. So don't ask for easy. Easy is cheap. Easy is crowded. Easy is forgettable. Ask for worthwhile. Ask for the kind of journey that demands discipline, demands courage, demands patience, demands grit. Because that journey will produce the version of you that you were designed to become. And once you've built that version, once you've developed that strength, adversity becomes something else entirely. It becomes training. It becomes the gym membership you willingly pay every day. Because now you know, every rep makes you better. Every challenge makes you sharper. Every setback makes you wiser. And every season of difficulty becomes the exact reason you become unstoppable. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect energy, the perfect clarity. They wait for that magical emotional spark. And because motivation is inconsistent and feelings fluctuate, they spend most of their life waiting. Waiting is the trap. Waiting is a disguised form of procrastination. Waiting is how dreams die silently. You can't get results by waiting for a feeling. Feelings are visitors. They come and they go. Action is the stable force. Action is the lever that moves your life forward regardless of how you feel in the moment. Professionals don't wait for feelings. Professionals know that emotion is unreliable. Professionals know that your mood cannot be trusted. You might wake up tired, stressed, annoyed, discouraged. If you let those feelings run your life, nothing great will ever happen. So professionals decode the game, they flip the order, they act first, and feelings follow. This is the principle that separates amateurs from world-class performers. Amateurs think motivation causes action. Professionals understand action creates motivation. You don't get confidence and then do the work. You do the work and confidence arrives as a reward. Imagine relying on mood to pay your bills. Imagine relying on motivation to build your business. Imagine relying on the perfect emotional climate to improve your skill. It would never happen, because the human emotional system is too unpredictable. If you only work when you feel like it, you will never become someone who can be trusted with big responsibility. You will always be at the mercy of your internal weather. But greatness is built by people who learn to execute in rain, in doubt, in boredom, in fear, in confusion. They show up before the mind gives permission. The mind becomes obedient when it learns that you no longer negotiate. Your brain eventually adapts to your standards. If your standard is I act when I decide, the brain aligns. If your standard is I act only when I feel good, the brain delays. Action reprograms the mind. When you train yourself to take action regardless of mood, you forge identity. Your identity eventually becomes, I am the kind of person who does what needs to be done. That is unstoppable internal power. Because once identity is upgraded, execution becomes automatic. Most people ruin their progress because they obey their feelings. They check their mood like a weather report. They say, I don't feel like it today. And they think that is a legitimate reason to skip the most important behaviors. But emotions are just temporary sensations. Discipline is the structure. Discipline is how you override feelings. Discipline is how you bypass the emotional excuses and do the necessary work. Each time you act despite your mood, you gain power over yourself. You reinforce the identity that you are in charge, not your moods. Action leads to momentum. Momentum leads to motivation. Motivation leads to stronger feelings. Professionals flip the psychology. They use action to create emotion, not emotion to create action. The moment you take the first step, everything shifts. The mind begins to align with movement. The heart begins to engage. The body wakes up. That first 5 minutes of doing the task is the trigger. That is the trick. That is the code. The hardest part is starting. Once you start, emotions become your ally instead of your obstacle. Never let feelings decide your behavior. Feelings are allowed to exist, but they don't get a vote. You don't need to feel inspired to make a phone call. You don't need to feel fearless to post the content. You don't need to feel ready to practice your skill. You don't need motivation to work out. You need a decision. You need a standard. You need 5 minutes of courage. And then let the feelings catch up later. That is the professional philosophy. That is how high performers operate. They act first and feelings follow.